Hi everybody, my name is Natalie, and as promised previously, I'm going to talk you through a recipe for making your own rosemary infused hair oil. Now, I've already spoken about many benefits of rosemary, but using it as a hair oil for growth and thinning hair seems to be really popular at the moment, and it's quite simple to make yourself. So you only need a few items. One of them is a tight closed lidded jar like this one. You'll need to be making a water bath at some point, so it's why it needs a tight fitting lid that you can seal well so that none of the water will get into the oil mix. You'll also need to have yourself some dried rosemary. You can use fresh, but I prefer to use dried as it has a much longer shelf life. Fresh can go rancid quite quickly. Whereas the dry stuff, you know, if it's kept in the right conditions, in a cool, dark place, it can last for in excess of a year. You're also going to need a sort of fine mesh strainer, some muslin or something. I use this for jams and other things as well. And we can start by using a carrier oil. So I like to use jojoba oil. It's organic and cold pressed. I prefer organic personally because it has less pesticides and other nasties in there. And also with the jojoba oil, it's really good. It has its own benefits for hair nourishment. So it seems like a real good oil to complement when using it for this purpose. So I'm going to start by taking my jar and I'm going to fill this with 100 mils of the jojoba oil. You can obviously use other oils, whichever you prefer to use. You might want to investigate that, but I prefer to use the jojoba. So once I've added the oil, I am then going to add 25 grams of the rosemary, but not all in one go. Firstly, I'm going to take half that amount. So 12.5 grams I will weigh out and pour into the oil mix. And then I'm going to give it a little stir so that it's all absorbed into the oil. Mix it around there. Okay. So when that is done, I'm going to seal the jar. And that's the mix before we start preparing it. Now the next step takes a little while. So I create a water bath. I will put it on the hob and absolutely don't let it boil because that will ruin the oil. But just bring it to a simmer. And you want to do that for up to 2 hours. And so when you're simmering the water, you want to make sure it's below just below the lid, so it doesn't go, you don't have any risk of any water going into the jar whilst you're cooking. Now, because it does take quite a while, I've been making some earlier today already. So once you've taken it out after 2 hours, you want to strain the mix into, I'll use a jug like this, and I'll strain it through here. I've already done this once today for this process because you need to do it twice. So after the initial 2 hours, I'm straining the mixture through there. And then the fresh oil, I'm going to pour back into the jar and I'm going to add the other half, the other 12.5 grams of dried rosemary. And I'm going to do exactly the same and I'm going to put it back in the water bath on the hob and I'm going to simmer that for another 2 hours. Once that time is complete, I'm going to turn it off and just leave it to cool for a while. And so I'll show you this part. It's exactly the same as the first stage of straining. So this is the one I've already made earlier today. And I'm just going to pour that into the pot for straining. This is why you need it to cool, because you don't want to burn your hands on the hot oil once you've got to strain it away into the jar. You can really smell the rosemary coming through now. So once you've got all of your oil out, you can see that you've got a lovely, here it's a lovely golden oil, and you can really smell the infusion of rosemary. Just to show you what it looks like once it's poured. So it's just in there. Now that I would just transfer into another container, maybe like one that I've already used to kind of make the mixture today. And I will just keep that in a cool, dark area. And so now it's ready for use on the hair. Now I've got I mean, you can use it straight out of the jar, however's easier. I like to use get a little dropper like this, which I have, and then I can put some of the oil, suck it up and drop it into the palms of my hands and use it through my hair. Now, probably one of the better ways to use it, I would say to rub the oil into your hair, leave it for sort of 30 minutes to an hour, and then simply shampoo that away and repeat that process 1 or 2 times a week. And hopefully over the next few weeks to few months, with the regular continued use of the rosemary oil, you'll start to see some of the hair benefits that you're looking for. So I hope that explains it clearly today on how easy it is to make your own rosemary infused hair oil. If there's anything you need clarification on, please do drop me a line in the comments below. And if you like what you've heard today and would like to see similar talks, please like and subscribe.